Welcome back to our live training session. In this tutorial, we're going to be taking a look at how to dial in our VTEC high cam operation. So this is going to be looking at fuel spark timing, variable cam control, and even working with our knock threshold table within our knock control routine. So we have a lot of things to unpack and discuss here. The very first thing I want to do is prep all of my tables so that when we move into our high cam, we're going to have reasonable starting values for fuel and spark timing and making sure everything is going to be in order there. So let's go and take a look at how we set up our calibration file. A little bit unique. This is the way that Honda goes in and calibrates working with VTEC functionality on their engines in the factory ECUs. So let's look at this real quick. We're in our volumetric efficiency table here to begin our tutorial, and this is what we found worked for our low cam for this alpha end strategy. Now I want to be able to take this table and bring it into my high cam. So we have two different VE tables. We're going to find here we have a 40 axes separating our two VE tables. So when we're on 0, we're on VE table 1. When we're on 100, we're on VE table 2. Now this 0 and 100 functionality comes from the GPO output 15, which is controlling our VTEC solenoid. So the GPO output 15 is a high side output here in my Max race box. And if I'm at 0 on the output, low cam, 100, high cam, VTEC. So pretty simple. What I want to do is take all my values here from my low cam and bring them into the high cam. Now, I've saved this file ahead of time, and what we can actually do here is do a file save and save as, and just save this and do call this high cam tuning. So we have a new file name for our tuning task here for this tutorial. And what we can do is move over here and copy our low cam values into our high cam. This will give us a good starting point, and we should find that they're fairly close. We're probably gonna have to go and adjust them, but they'll give us at least a reasonable starting point. So if I switch over to my 100 axes on the 40 axes here, and I simply right click and I go here into, let's jump into load from file, and let's load our high cam tuning option, and the settings will be overwritten, continue, yes. So it's basically gonna be bringing in here, oh, looks like it's not gonna allow me to copy that from our file. So what's interesting about this is that if we go here and we try to use the copy function, so I'm doing Control C, and we switch over to our 100% table here, the VE2 table, and I paste, it's not allowing me to do a copy and paste, which is super frustrating. I don't know if this is a software bug right now where you can't do a copy and paste between the 4D tables. I believe it used to work, but for whatever reason, it's not working. And by going in here to our 100% axes here, I'd like to go in and copy paste between these, but there's no functionality in here. If you take a look at our drop down menu, there's a copy function, but if we copy it, there's no paste function, which is definitely frustrating. And if we take a look here, using our load from file, this loads another table from another file, loads the same table from another file. And in this case, the other file that we're trying to load this from is just instantly loading it from the other 100% table value. So I'm trying to skate around the fact that I can't copy and paste. I was having that issue before we started the tutorial, so it looks like we're stuck kind of in the same position. I'd like to be able to take all the values here and copy them into our high cam table, but it looks like it's not going to be that easy. So what we're gonna have to do is take a look at our values at full throttle here. We can see they're roughly in the 70 and 80% range, and that's from 3,000 RPM and above. That's where I'm going to expect on here my value should be at. So that's pretty close, 70 to 80. So we're going to leave these values alone. Below 3,000, VTEC's not going to go gauge below that. So we really don't have to worry about these values here. Now in part throttle, we should also match up what we're finding here. So very light throttle, we're finding here we're about 20, 30s. If we use that same functionality here and set this to something like maybe 28 right here, so let's go ahead and try to edit our values in our table and just do an interpolation upwards, we should find similar fueling to that low cam, and then we can do a little bit of a horizontal interpolation across here, kind of blend this in. So this should be fairly close. We might have to touch that up in the part throttle. We'll have to see how that goes, but we should have at least the same VE values from our low cam to the high cam. So hopefully it makes sense. And again, a little bit frustrating. I can't just simply highlight the table here and do a copy and then jump into the high cam and then just simply do a paste. Just doesn't allow that. I don't know why. Definitely kind of a dumb software glitch, or not written into the software, definitely a dumb feature. Okay, let's go to the lambda table. Now we have one single lambda table, so between low and high cam, we're commanding the same 86 lambda. That's gonna be fine here at full throttle. Ignition angle. What we're gonna find is we wanna run the same ignition timing from the low and high cam. At least the same timing. Now on high cam, we can usually run a couple degrees more timing compared to the low cam, but we'll have to see how this is gonna go. So I know here 3,000 and above is kind of where I wanna have my values being similar between low and high cam. Looking here, 24 degrees is what we have right here. So we flip over. If we set this to 24 degrees in the same range, and then we flip back. We know in part throttle, we're here at roughly 34 degrees. Let's just say right here. So in this range, we're at roughly 34. And we go between these two. Let's do an interpolation vertically. This will get us about where our timing is between low and high cam. Obviously, we can't do the copy and paste. At 3000, I am going to copy the same values here, even at 2500 on the high cam. And then I'll just transfer this over here. Again, we're not going to get down this low in RPM, but I do want to have some values populated there, just in case for some reason it was able to transition to a much lower RPM, even though we're not going to command VTEC much lower than that. So we have our spark timing set the same as low cam. We can bump the timing in and experiment with that a little bit here. We can test that out in the tutorial. We'll have to see how it's going to go. Let's jump in here to a few other things I want to take a look at. Variable cam control. We have two variable cam timing tables, just as we found when we were on low cam and with the fuel and spark. Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here. And you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.